Hello everyone, so this is going to be the daily speedrun. I'm playing Lightning this time, and we're running basically the usual setup that you see in the guide, but this time instead of turret greaves I'm running critical power shield, just because I want to try out using Lightning Slide as a mobility tool for the early planets to save some time, basically cut down 1 or 2 seconds of movement to try and save time in the long run. So 1 second per planet doesn't sound like much, but when you add up 9 planets, that's 9 seconds saved off of your total time, which could be the difference between a world record and not a world record in some cases. Now, damage is going to be a tiny bit lower at the start, which might counteract that. But, okay, we got a crasher, thank God. But my idea is basically, because of how fast the bosses should be dying anyway, it should be relatively okay. Now, this isn't the greatest lineup. The first 2 planets are probably the worst 2 planets you could, well, not the worst 2 planets, but some of the worst planets that you could hope for. Number 2 definitely being the worst planet you could hope for on the first, in the first pull. He's just tankier, and the Hydras, unfortunately, take a while to kill because they have awkward spawn patterns. But we're going to come in here, we're going to fire out our homing lasers instantly, get the buff, and then we're going to shockwave that, light side to the left, light side to the right, and they should die. So 7 seconds. Usually the first planet is a 2-second kill, which is why we don't really want Hydra. We just basically wasted nearly 3 planets worth of time here. Gonna pick up status effect target. This is going to be good for us in the long run. Critical power magazine's more likely to show up again in comparison to status effect target. This planet should die relatively fast as well. What I should have done last time, which did add a second on into that time, was I should have fired my homing lasers from here before we went in, so I had the buff going into the room. This would be absolutely crazy to have. We're not going to be able to afford it. This is just a tease. I am so sad right now. This planet's only going to give us 180. So, yeah. Fire off our buff. And get the kill. Like, that's just sad to see, man. That crasher is just depression incarnate. We're never gonna see a crasher like that again. I don't know if it's just me or if there's other speedrunners out there that have this issue as well. I know Dippets and Cannon Fodder also have this issue when we're doing runs. Any of our world record runs, we generally don't have good crashes in them, usually. We usually end up with either a basic blue crasher or just the starter crashes. Like, we just don't see crashes that roll well within our runs. So when we do see it, it's usually a bad omen. We'll take the 500% lightning slide. We're going to save and get this retail suit afterwards for when we get a 200% 200% defense on Lightning Slide. I did not expect Lightning Slide to burst him that fast, but that's okay. Now we just shockwave this part. Lightning Slide again. Shockwave again. Cool. We just skipped 3 phases. We'll take that. I generally didn't expect Lightning Slide to actually burst him that fast. We'll take it. Going into Planet 4. See, now, this is where the run basically should just be faster. These are kind of the ideal lineups now going forward. And we've got the 3 most important upgrades now. We just gotta hope to see the other damage upgrades going on. Cool, everything's kind of falling into place. Now, getting to Protean is going to be a little bit slower than Jungler, but the Protean kill itself should be faster, because we get to use our shock multipliers, whereas Jungler loses his burn multipliers by the time you get a Protean, because obviously it's a fire planet. So his damage becomes a little bit worse. Lightning Slide. Cleave across. Now, there's something about Shockwave that's kind of misrepresented. Is it's basically a square. It fires out in what looks like a triangle, but it's actually a square. That's why when you saw me standing next to the Orisha Mammoth there, it still got hit by the Shockwave, even though I was aiming at the other one. We'll pick up the attack power, roll once more, pick up the power box. We'll fire our homing lasers off here, but we're going to make sure that we don't lightning slide on top of the boss too early. We got an unfortunate attack pan here. Shockwave once again. Lightning slide again, see if we can push a little bit more health. Cool, there we go. As it lays down, we'll throw out the shockwave. We didn't get a reset, that's unfortunate. We'll come down to the right, bait it left. lightning slide, and it dies. Coming out sub 1 minute, that's decent for our lightning, in all honesty. Would prefer it to be a little bit faster, but I mean, planet 1 and 2 aren't ideal for us. The freeze reactor would have been a great buy there, but we have Kraken coming up, so I'd much rather get something like a poison or a bleed reactor. They work a little bit better on Protean as well. Freeze would allow us to try and skip phases on Protean, but the likelihood of us actually getting it to proc at the right time is very unlikely. This is bad, we don't want that, it's too much weapon power. There's a poison reactor, we'll grab that afterwards. So coming into double polychoppers, we're gonna do what we usually do. We're gonna go to the right one, fire out our homing lasers from the multiplier, lightning slide on top, move around back, shockwave both. Pick up that poison reactor. We can spend 10 to see if we can get something good here. We didn't get anything great. 20% crit, perfect dodge wouldn't be terrible. I'm gonna pick it up. Gonna lose the defensive versus attack on that crasher, allowing us to actually use the retail suit. Plus, on Protean Beast, if we make it to the last phase, we could just perfect dodge off one of the balls and have massive crit damage multiply them. And there's going to be a moment in this fight as well where we're going to be able to do that too. So, it's not completely terrible, but if we don't have the damage instantly, basically, like straight away off the gate, like going into the fight, then it's kind of redundant. Because perfect dodging is like a 2-second long animation, and we don't like that. Shoot our crasher, fire our homing lasers, get the poison stacking up, evenly shockwave into a lightning slide. Perfect dodge, there's that 200% crit. Slightly slide on these, get them out of the way. Don't want them dropping our mercy down. Now unfortunately, the projectiles in this fight are kind of useless, because they'll just bounce on the other worms. We have big damage for when that ends. Oh, some reason our lightning slide stopped registering on them. That was weird. Fire out some more damage. We would much prefer to have Hades gear over Kraken on this planet, but Kraken is still one of the better bosses for this planet, so we take it. 35% cooldown. Our stat lines are looking really good. Hopefully now we'll see the shock multiplier on Lightning Slide. That'll be perfect, honestly. Especially for cats. Attack magazine, we'll save and get that afterwards. Any attack power is great. Didn't get what we want, but we'll take that. It'll couple with what I was saying earlier about perfectly dodging off of Protean's balls in the last phase. Fire out our homing lasers. Lightning Slide. Perfect dodge down, and then shockwave. Let's get our attack mag. We can't afford anything if we rolled now. Well, we could afford a tier 1, tier 2s, but we wouldn't afford a tier 3. Should have rolled maybe once or twice, just to be safe, but it's fine. We'll just go into the shop here. There's our Lightning Slide multiplier. Roll once, roll twice, sync attack backpack. So we're gonna go in, fire our homing lasers, shoot our crasher, etc. You know, the usual. And then dodge out of the way. Shockwave. Lightning Slide on top. Follow him. Shockwave again. Fire our homing lasers. Lightning Slide on top. Shockwave again. Proc a perfect dodge here. Get a Lightning Slide on top. Into a shockwave. We'll skip the last phase. We'll skip the third phase, sorry. We don't really want to deal with the super armor. So we'll let him do his run around. Perfectly dodge off the ball. He'll land in front of us, or not. Shockwave into a Lightning Slide, and he should die. 252. So it's only 2 seconds slower than the current time I have up for Jungler. So this could be good, considering the fact we wasted 5 seconds on the first planet because it's being Hydra, plus we had Mantis on second, and a little bit of weird stuff with our Lightning Slide not working on Kraken. This would have been around about a 236, 238 run. I think that's pretty good. Our Crasher was not the best. We didn't get the shock multiplier, the 50% multiplier for our shockwave, so there's damage missing there. Plus the duration on lasers would have been great, but everything else was pretty much on point. Yeah, try this build out if you don't like turret greaves, honestly. It's pretty good. We were running high V2. It's just my best toy worker that I've got rolled. It's basically just got a little bit of crit damage, skill power, and what's it called? And some ignored defense on it. And then obviously the fourth one is the default level 10 it comes with. Thank you for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.